It is 6, so we will call the meeting to order. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting will be recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. And with that, I will open it up to comments from the public comments from the committee members, if any.
Just thank John again for the tour.
Yes.
That
was great.
The TCP at the last meeting was very informative. It's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah.
It was helpful.
I reached out to Michelle from the Boys and Girls Club. She had emailed me, wanted to know when the next meeting was.
Right.
I sent her a copy of this. When I sent the agenda out to you, I reached out to her. I was hoping that, I didn't hear back from her. I was hoping she was going to be here. I think she was maybe going to try to make it, but maybe something came up. So I expect to see her at public comment at some point. She wanted the opportunity to come in and talk to us. So I said, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. You're welcome. So, any public comment from the public? No. Hear from Heather Goldett.
I just let you go, Greg, but I have to leave for the school committee at for 6:30.
We got a couple of departures at 6:30 and 7, so we'll okay. We'll move on. Do we have any minutes, Mike?
We do not.
Okay, no minutes. So we will move on to review, evaluate RFQ submittals. And Heather, do you want to come up to the table? And so we received 3 responses. The RFQs were due yesterday, and we received 3. Oh, today, I'm sorry. Today, I'm losing track of days. And we received 3. And so I don't know if we just want to pass these out. We got an email link today. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to peruse them. I think Dave did.
I did. I mean, you can download them pretty easily.
Yeah.
I was able to download.
Yeah.
Good.
I just opened them and scanned them real quick visually, so I got a little bit of a feeling for the 3.
So I haven't looked at them at all. So why don't we just pass those around? I didn't have a chance today to open it at work. But.
I should have made notes because I don't remember which one.
Oh, I see this. I got it now. Now we're going to go.
So I don't know how we want to. So we now know what we have. We have 3. We have 3 submittals, and I think the first thing we need to do is review them for completeness, and then we have to. I mean, if we had more than, we need to rank them, and then we have to figure out who, if any, we're going to call back for interviews. So obviously that's not all going to occur tonight. So we kind of said at our last meeting that we would just kind of review them and get started to the maximum extent that we thought we could. So I don't know. Did you have a chance to kind of peruse through any of it?
No,
or not
I had
really. Just kind of grabbed them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. So what I brought though was the final version of the RFQ.
Yeah.
So you can need that to review for completeness.
Yeah.
And just extracted the evaluation sheets, and so there's 3 sheets per person. But designer selection law and our procedures, we have to select a minimum of 3 proposers.
Okay. So
You know what happens when you have 2?
There you go.
You have to select the 2.
Okay.
So I'd say you would be interviewing the 3 firms that would receive proposals for them, unless there's a blatant reason for them to be excluded.
I saw it on page 16.
So that, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, after perusing these 3, I initially came out with the feeling that we might want to extend the deadline. That was just my personal feeling. There was only 1 out of the 3 that stood out that kind of had the experience that I was looking for.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I'm not saying the other two wouldn't be viable candidates, but that was my first run-through. That's how I came off of it, was that if we were willing to extend it a while longer and try to get a couple more. I mean, I'm not set in stone against going forward with the three, but that was my gut feeling first round through.
Yeah.
So did you receive any comments from somebody, anything else saying, hey, I'm interested, but, or?
Only one firm responded or emailed me to say that they wouldn't be bidding.
Okay.
And it was because of their workload. So I
Okay.
assume that's the case with most people who took out proposals.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah, you said you had like 30 or something. Right?
Probably 47.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot.
Did any one of them express concerns about submitting because of the time frame that we had listed?
Not that they relate to,
Okay.
to me.
Yeah.
That was the only comment, only email I got was
Okay.
one firm.
And like I said, I throw that out there as my first impression.
Yeah.
We did get a little deeper into it with other expertise at the table, and, we might end up being fine as a committee with the three we've got to work with.
I guess the way forward is to keep that in mind and just do the process, and if we decide at the end of the process,
Yeah.
Yep.
we got to take another stab
Sure,
at it.
that's fine.
So if we wanted to do that, we'd have to rebid, correct? We can't, yeah, so we'd
Yeah,
have to go through
the
that process.
deadline's passed, you can't extend it. If
So
it
what-
was Monday and we said we want to extend the deadline,
Then we could.
that's a different
Right.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, so we'd have to rebid.
yeah.
Do we have any, are we under any time obligation on when we have to act on these, for lack of a better word, or? Like if we were gonna say we want to rebid.
Let's see if there was, how long the proposal was good for. I think that was somewhere.
It was the proposed timeline.
I didn't look into it that deeply.
Yeah, we
That-
had a
I think the nice part is actually the harder work was actually taking care of us, that we were trying to minimize it to 3. That was our concern for today, and
Yeah.
we have that, so
We
we
have-
are set,
yes.
so we could actually set up our interviews
We
and then decide after our interviews where we want to go.
So that's actually what came to my mind. So I mean, almost like the ranking becomes a little bit less of a.
It's eliminated
We
at
don't
this
really
point.
need to rank them because we're gonna.
Because we
I mean, we
still have to
might
do
still.
interviews.
I think we should go
I think there's still value in ranking them, but what I'm saying
Before the
is.
interviews.
Yes, but the.
I think it will help inform us to the interview, to go
Oh,
through the process of...
certainly. Yeah.
But I think it doesn't stop us from setting up the interviews.
Right.
The ranking.
Right.
And
So
Dennis, do we know that all of these are, complete and everything?
well, that's what we.
That's part of the ranking.
Okay, okay. Well, I wasn't sure if we wanted to just do a quick look to
That's-
see if they were complete, and if there's one that's not, then we're done, then we're already back at square one again.
But at the same time, we have to interview a minimum.
That's what I'm saying, so if we
Yeah.
determine that one wasn't complete, in a way that's kind of saying,
We have
okay,
to-
I'm back down to
Then we
2.
automatically have to rebid.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's fine.
I'm just,
I've got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, makes sense. So do we want to roll through that?
And you haven't had a chance to look?
No.
Okay. Yes, I think probably makes sense, Mr. Chair, we kind of quickly go through them and just look to make sure everything's complete.
Yeah. So I guess what we're doing is we roll through maybe this is the ranking, but we have a table in here somewhere about what minimum requirements of the.
There was a
Page 8 is the
Yeah,
submission package.
Yeah.
Yeah, submission package, yes.
So should we just roll through, start with one of them, roll through, and just check boxes?
Sounds good.
Do one and see how it works.
So let's do, I've got Johnson and Roberts Associates. Yeah, we're gonna do a box. So.
So if you just go to the content page.
Yeah, we just go to page 8, we just go through A, B, C, we just do it. So we've got, section A is cover letter.
Yep,
You have a cover letter?
yep. Previous project experience.
Yep, yes, fee is free, yep. If anybody objects to any of these, just say, whoa, 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 whoa.
I just on the previous, I just want to make sure we had it the same way. And there was supposed to be a chart, a few pictures appropriate. Plus material. I know this one, I kind of looked at one had a bunch of charts of all the things they were doing. And that's the reason.
Well,
Kinda
which one?
different.
Which one? We're on B.
I know, I
Oh,
understand.
a chart of
So,
what
you know,
they've
it's just the
done.
way, each one looks like they're doing it differently.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but that's,
So I'm just looking through the project
Right,
experience.
okay.
So, I mean,
all right, beautiful. Go ahead.
I think generally speaking, it looks like we're good with B.
Yeah. References.
References and reputation, so
They did not put anything.
so they don't have anything.
So they did,
Oh, please see item 11 on the
yeah,
table.
they referenced the previous page.
It's back up to...
Okay, they have the references in each of the
There's
boxes.
the reference. It's box 11.
So that's a yes.
Yeah, they did list the reference.
So I think we're good there. Again, for
Yeah.
clarity, when I say good, I mean it's the
Yeah.
information's there. We're not making a,
It's-
not making it.
We haven't looked at the
Yes,
content.
exactly. Project approach, we addressed it. There they have a two-page project approach.
Yeah, okay.
We're good there. E is proposed staff and sub-consultants. They have a flow chart with, looks like their key personnel, their subs.
And then bio on each one.
Yep. That's good. Okay. I'm going to check there for that.
Yep.
Yes.
Stability and
F,
capacity.
firm stability capacity, so, I don't know, this one might be a describe history, system past financial proposals. I mean, would any of these be like DQs if... Well, let's just look, so they've got certificate of...
Founded in 96. Well, again, we're not looking at content, but they did
Yeah.
make a statement about it.
Describe, list,
So they got the history, they've got, right,
provide insurance.
they've got the insurance, yep. And it's evidence of at least 2 million for personal liability, they have 2 million, 2 million, 3 million in aggregate.
Yeah.
Liability insurance, I didn't know if they needed the workers' compensation and automobile insurance system.
Well,
Probably have
they have workers'
liability.
comp, they have umbrella of 3 million, they have automotive of 1 million, they have
Okay.
general liability 1 million,
Yeah, workers' comp.
workers' comp 1 million, so, okay, I think that's a check. And required forms, so what are these collision forms?
Non-collision,
Yeah.
compliance.
Okay. And they're all sealed, signed, sealed, okay. So I think it's complete. I think we have
So
complete.
I just have one question on that one, and I know we're not supposed to be looking too far, but on that firm stability capacity, just one of my key ones was C on that. And so letter F, number C was describe proposed workload at this time or proposed ability to undertake and commit to this project, including a proposed timeline to complete all tasks. It's kind of a little vague, but I'm
Yeah.
just hoping that everybody's okay with that. That's like, to be one of the key ones. These are the fast track we're trying to do here.
Yep.
And, because I noticed one of them has like 7 projects, 10 projects.
In progress.
What I see is like, did they list it, and then we go through it after, and are
Okay.
we
And that's
1
gonna
through
be-
4
I'm sure
highly
that's gonna be
advantaged
like a
through unacceptable
Big,
Gotcha.
or
big
acceptable?
discussion in the interview. But they also did make a statement, we commit to delivering this project in the proposed timeline set forth in the RFQ.
Okay, that's fine, beautiful. All right, I'm okay with it.
So,
That's like a plus. It's like, what you were saying, maybe we'll get someone that can commit to it. Looks like we did. So, all right, so we're going to give them a...
I'm sorry, I'm waiting for the one that says, we say we will definitely miss the deadline.
Yeah.
Probably be about twice as long as expected.
They might not phrase it that way, is that what you mean? Yeah. All right.
The minimum stated qualifications.
Next one, town of, what's...
Big one,
D-
right? Okay.
DG...
Georgie.
Yeah, Giorgio. I've heard of them.
It's had trouble.
I don't know a lot that I have. All right. Okay, Section A, cover letter. So we have that.
Good look, definitely helps.
It's all supposed to be one page, but they have 2 pages. Oh, 1 to 2 pages.
Number 2.
Okay. Number B, previous work experience. So they have,
Because, I mean, this was the one that was like quite extensive.
yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, they got a whole table here. You got the contact, what all those, I see, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I think we can give them a check for that. C,
References are there?
Yes.
well, they did Harvard, Hildreth House.
Mhm.
That's a good reference.
Long Island campus facilities, the city of Boston Public Health. It's a big project, so that's good.
All right. D, project approach.
Filled that all.
Reference? Can we skip references?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's in there.
The references are, sorry, we did skip references, but it's in the references are,
Yep, got it.
oh, no, we didn't skip
It's a
it.
separate page.
And they have contacts for, in their matrices here too.
Yep, wonderful.
So they have a lot of references. D is project approach. So we've got team qualifications, project approach. We break that out into various subcategories: civil, MEP, architectural, structural. So I think we're good there. E is staffing. Again,
Flow chart and
flow chart and bios and resumes. A lot of resumes. So these guys. Okay, we got that. F, firm stability and capacity.
They got a deep bench.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they got a lot of people, they employ a lot of PEs and architects.
Well, you'll see by, if you look at the first paragraph up there, firm stability, it's 1,000 people.
I see, yeah.
It's a very deep bench.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Sorry, nearly.
Nearly. All right. So they've got, they give us a whole list of their ongoing projects. They have their certificate of liability, which is professional liability is well in excess of $2 million. And then the required forms, non-collusion, tax compliance, building code, and certificate of authority. And resolution of the board of directors. I think we're good there.
Yep.
Okay, complete. 2 out of 3. Okay. Abacus.
Table of contents.
Table of contents, cover letter. We're good on A. B, previous work experience, so we have that section, starting on page 3. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8.
Another Harvard.
Oh, which one?
The old library.
Number 8.
Oh, okay, yeah,
What a beautiful building.
it is a beautiful building. And it looks like, just for the next section, they have references built into that section as well. So the references are clearly there.
There's a current project going on in the air.
That was a feasibility study, I think,
Yeah.
at this point.
Where are we at? D, project approach. So we have that. So we'll give that a check. E is staffing. They have the proposed team and staffing plan. So they have a narrative, they have the proposed subs, and bios, resumes, key people. And then we have the firm stability and capacity. So we have a narrative on that, when it was founded, financial, statement relative to financial, no past financial issues, current. Workload. Okay. We'll have that. And they reference the certificate in the back.
It is in the back.
It is, okay, yep, there it is. 1 million, 2 million. Okay. And then G is required forms. Source code, certificate of authority,
Non-collusion.
tax, and non-collusion, so we're good. Okay, I think we can go. 3 complete.
Guess we're done. I guess we're done.
I guess
Let's
we're
go
done.
have
So what do we want to do? Do we want to make a motion to that effect, that we deem them complete, or do we need to do that? I don't know.
Doesn't hurt.
Does it hurt?
I make a motion that we deem 3 packages complete.
Give a second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's good. That's one less thing. So now why don't we just have a discussion about what the expectations are moving forward? And maybe start to identify, to Brian's point, a timeline for possible interviews. So we have to rank them. So my thought on this was that we would take the next period of time, probably 2 weeks, and all go through them and sort of mark them up, give our individual, as individuals, our thoughts on what the ranking should be based on the criteria, so that when we come back in 2 weeks, we can streamline that process.
Did we need to do that before we have the interviews? or-
We have to do that before I think we need to do that before we do the interviews, don't you?
Probably should have at least discussion.
So my thought was we'd do that next time, and we'd sort of come up with the composite rankings. And then we have penciled in a 3rd meeting in January, the last Wednesday of the month, that could possibly be done for interviews. That schedule, given what we have here, seems to be doable in my mind, but I'll happy to take anybody else's opinion on that.
I won't be able to do that last Thursday of the month.
You won't be able to do that?
Yeah, I could do the following, I'm sorry, the Wednesday. I can do the following Wednesday, the first
Okay.
Wednesday, but I can't
Okay.
do that. I need to get out.
I'm imagining that we'd be best served by not scheduling them all in one meeting.
Right. And I was wondering if we want to formulate a
Well-
series of questions, like, so there'd be like a set questions for each
Yeah.
one. So spend a meeting kind of formulating.
I agree. I think it's good that if we approach each one with similar.
Right. You know, phrase the same, kind of
Right.
spelled out the same, so.
Yep.
So that last meeting of the month might be better served to do those.
Get ready for it. Okay.
Right.
Okay, well then, that seems reasonable to me.
And that's why I can have some questions that I can send them to you, Mr. Chair, if
Yeah.
they're different.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could also be starting to formulate those at the next meeting, next meeting.
Yes.
Does anybody remember what tentative date we had that we wanted to hopefully be ready to make a choice and hand them off to Heather? We set a tentative date for that. I'm just trying to see how that fits into where we're at going into the end of January.
Yeah.
I was looking through the RFQ yesterday. It should say right in there. We had scheduled all the, or said we were going to do all the interviews during the month of January.
Yeah, finals interviews 22nd, 29th.
Yeah,
Proposed timeline.
I think we've been very ambitious on it.
I agree. My question is, what's a, maybe this is to you, Heather, what do we think is a reasonable notification to notify someone of an interview time slot?
A week,
A week, you think?
yeah.
Okay.
And
Given they know our proposed schedule.
Yeah.
And that's why it's kind of put in there when, kind of the time frame of when interviews,
Yeah.
I mean, we
they would be
could,
reviewed and
And then just to be
verified.
clear, we can get through that, we can do that whole, we can roll with the evaluation, we can interview people, and then we can say to ourselves, we don't like any of them, we can rebid it. Is that true?
I'll have to look into that a little further. I don't know if the RFQ will have to be changed at all after
Okay.
submittal by these firms. And there's no price associated with it, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think we gave ourselves the ability in here to reject for any reason.
Yeah, we can reject.
That's
but
what I mean.
as far as rebidding the same package, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, well, what I mean is, I guess maybe I should rephrase, we can decide to reject all three of them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we don't have a point where we have to get to that before we don't want to get past that tipping point if we. Okay.
could I suggest, because, we are on such a tight time frame, that we might think about creating a schedule that gives us the interviews then the first week of February?
Yeah.
just a warning, I'm out of state that week.
Okay.
And that doesn't stop you from doing it. I mean, I could actually participate remotely if we can set it up. I've done that with the Board of Health meeting here. Audio only.
Let's see, do we have the capability here?
Well,
Isn't that
actually-
what
We
Wonder
did it
Woman
through
does?
cell phones.
Okay, it's actually, if you
No
have
conversation
Xfinity, you can do it, if you have a laptop, you can do it, you can watch it, actually. So I did it remotely for the ZBA, and I was able to watch it, even though.
Yeah, but
had the cell phone.
I contributed to the meeting.
Right, that's what
I
I'm
had
saying.
audio.
No, that's what I'm saying, I had the cell phone there, but I could watch actually
Well, that's because it was a live broadcast, though. This
Yeah,
wouldn't be live.
this isn't a live.
but I'm thinking the
Unless we
interviews.
did it.
I'm thinking the interviews would be, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe we can do it over there. That's a good point.
You know, if you're gonna.
Why do we need to wait all the way to February to schedule an interview?
Yeah, so,
It's January
We've got,
good point.
yeah, we've got 3 meetings left this month, right?
We do, well, yeah.
3 Wednesdays.
There's 3 more Wednesdays left. We had tentatively planned to meet the last 2 Wednesdays.
Well, and here there's
We-
final interviews, 22nd, 20...
Well, if we can wrap up our ratings and create our
Questions?
our format for the interviews on the next meeting.
What do we need to do with
Then
the
we'd be-
ratings beforehand?
Say again, David?
We're all taking these back and marking these up ourselves for each of the proposals.
Shouldn't we do that after the interview?
No, we
No,
need to rank them.
This is right now,
Yeah.
oh wait, is this, I thought this,
When I've done this before, you interview before you
I'm
rank.
kind of feeling that
Well,
in
no,
that direction. Because
well-
I've already got an initial feeling just by...
oh, so
reading
just
through.
having a acceptable
well, no.
submission
Well,
is the criteria to get into the interview.
well, again, we're a little bit
Yeah.
different
Right?
territory.
Am I correct?
The interview is one criteria though, so that's a whole section.
Yeah, I thought that
The
this was
other-
about the whole thing, the submission and the interview.
Well, so, but the feeling, if there's only 3 at this point, and we have to interview 3, do we really want, should we expedite the interviews and then sit there?
And then rate them after the interview.
Rate them, because it's really,
Do we,
Yeah.
so I was under the impression that we rank, and it's a little bit of
I mean,
a
we
moot point here because we only have 3.
right, that's what I'm saying.
But I was under the impression that we ranked them first to determine which ones we're going to interview. But
I think if we had a pile this thick, yeah,
That would
we
make
would
sense.
have
I
down
get
to
that.
3.
I get that,
But we're
sir.
at 3.
So I just want to make sure we're working the process.
Do you think it's too tight?
Yeah, it's, to me, it's
Okay.
Yeah,
semantics.
chicken and egg,
Let's-
yeah.
It's chicken and egg. I just think that it would be
Interviews for
worthwhile for us to
And-
go through this process prior to the interview, so we have in our heads
Yeah.
what areas we may want to focus in on in the interview.
Okay, so how about if we look at that, if we look at it for the next meeting we have, right? And I know he had to leave early, but I don't have a problem if we had to do next Wednesday. or something like that.
I'm
But, because it's only 3, it's not like we have 20 of them to go through.
Yeah.
But if we did that quickly and then start to do our questions, and then you can almost expedite, you're there, sitting there at the next meeting, could be the interview process start. And I don't know how long...
We could use those two, we could still hit those 22nd and 29th.
Right.
Three
If you need the
process
27th, you can use the 27th for the last one.
Right.
But you should be able to, how long is an interview going to be?
An hour piece.
An hour apiece, so
I mean, you
3
could-
hours. If we start at 6, we're done.
You could-
9, I would be excited. I'd
Yeah.
post my meeting.
I know, so you could do them, with 3, you could do them in 1. We were anticipating that maybe, or it was possible that we interviewed more than 3.
Right.
Right.
So with 3, I would think that's probably the limit of what you want to do in one night.
Yes.
I think you could do it.
Right, figuring if you give yourself a 15-minute, 20-minute break, 15-minute between each one.
So if we met next week, you think that would be okay to notify them of an interview the following?
And
And then I guess we'd have-
This week, that the interviews will be the
Yeah.
following Wednesday.
And then I guess we'd always have that 5th Wednesday if someone, I don't know if that would ever...
So we're going to try to punch all 3 of them out at that second meeting.
At the,
The 22nd.
To me, that makes
22nd.
sense. To me, that
Yeah.
makes sense because...
I do too. I mean, I have no problem with it, but, you guys have other
I know everybody has
schedules
other
too.
things, so I know that Brian will have school committee, he'll have ZBA.
No, I'll just ask for they can handle without me.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
knowing that ZBA is there, that negates the ability to live broadcast.
Well, actually, I don't think there's a ZBA meeting, the last one we haven't, I don't think anybody's proposed just yet. Is there?
Not in the schedule.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not in the
For the
schedule.
22nd?
For the
Should we book
22nd.
it now?
Unless,
Well, I think that's kind of
I mean,
critical.
tentatively, just so that if
You
it
think
does
it'd be
pop up.
important to have it over there? You'd have a lot.
Well, if, I've heard a lot of comments about public outreach and let people know.
I think it makes sense.
In my mind, that's the best way to do it.
And number 2, although you don't need all the space, it's a better space for anyone wanting to do an audiovisual presentation.
That's
Yeah.
good too. Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah. And I say,
Can we,
Which I imagine all 3 will.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if the room's not available on the 22nd, then I would assume nobody has anything scheduled for the 29th up there, because it's the end of the month.
so then we just do it, okay. All right. So,
When's conservation?
conservation is next week, and I think that's the only one they do this month.
I personally would like to have the 29th to make the final decision, but
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
have the interviews out of the way and already been able
Yes,
to
potentially we
digest.
could have both meetings up there. We'll see.
Right.
Right.
Okay. I need to write that down. Check on town hall availability. All right, so do we want to try to schedule a meeting next week then? Is that the
Yes.
consensus now? I have an issue for next Wednesday, unfortunately. I think I'm already double booked. So, do you want to try to
Dave,
put...
you take over.
Can we switch it to an alternate day, like a Thursday or a...
Thursday works for me.
Next week, we don't have capital planning, so we can do Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm done with planning.
I just have to jet at 7.
Tuesdays
So I've got
works for me.
FinCom this week, so I shouldn't have FinCom next week.
So next
I've got Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday open.
Tuesday, Thursday...
Next week.
Thursday's fine with me.
Monday,
I'll be away
Tuesday,
on
and
Monday.
Thursday, so
Okay.
Tuesday's the overlap on
Dave?
you guys.
I'm okay. Next week is...
Both of those days?
Yes.
Tuesday, Thursday?
Yes.
Tana?
I'm okay Tuesday, but not Wednesday.
How about
Or
Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay, Tuesday.
So Tuesday looks like the day.
Tuesday I have a meeting too, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm fine on Thursday too, so whatever.
So what, the majority has Thursday available?
I have available Thursday of next week, that's it.
I can do Thursday.
What's your Thursday?
Well, Tanner can't do Thursday.
Thursday's tough.
Okay.
I think we're always going to have that.
Basketball and
Oh.
That's all my other days. But I have work meetings the other 2 days.
You know the old saying, you want something done, ask a busy person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I'd actually rather not have it be Tuesday, if I remember correctly. Parks just scheduled Tuesday, didn't they, next week? Or was it Monday? I don't know.
Agreed?
Well,
Pick a day. and
can
I'll
you provide input
do
or
my
what do
best
you...
to show up.
I mean, I want to,
On Thursday?
yeah, for our meeting on Thursday.
Even if you want to just do the...
I would say
regular.
book it, and I'll
Okay.
see if I can juggle some
Okay.
stuff around.
All right.
in the interest of.
All right, so
What
let's,
is- I'm sorry, is there a time, like if we, well, you have to leave by 7, right? On a-
Thursday doesn't matter for me.
Oh, Thursday matters. So is there a time, like if we started at 7,
is
would
there a
that be
time,
better
yeah,
for
is there a
you?
time constraint? Yeah, that's.
Or is it-
No, either way.
Okay, all right.
Either way is bad, equally
Yeah.
bad.
Juggling it forward or back.
Believe me, I get that, yeah. All right, so let's keep the same time, let's keep 6 o'clock then,
Okay.
on next Thursday. Thursday, January 16th.
And our business will be to review proposals and to formulate
Questions?
questions.
All right. Uh, 16th, 6th, okay. And then we have the 22nd and the 29th. Okay. Okay?
Interview starting at 6 on the 22nd?
Yeah, I think so.
And to give them half an hour presentation, 15 minutes for question and answer.
I would just cut it down. Can you do 20 minutes and then leave it? Well, I don't know, depends, I guess, the questions, but.
I don't know, I think
I-
overall we need to commit an hour total.
Right, but to give them some guidelines.
Right, a half an hour for them, 15 minutes for questions, 15 minutes for a debrief.
Like
So
actually
it
gives
gives
them
them a half hour for presentation.
But,
You mean debrief for us
Yeah.
when they leave before
Yeah.
we get the next one in?
correct.
So it's a 45-minute presentation that they're.
Well, with 15 minutes of buffer, because
Right.
Right.
We may have nothing to say, or we may decide.
Or you
Yeah.
may have more questions that be longer than 15 minutes.
It might take long, that's what I'm saying, so.
a half hour is a long time to present, too.
It is, so that's something maybe.
That's what I'm saying, I was rather see 20 minutes. You know, if you may say 20 minutes and they go 25, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, if I say a half hour and they go 35, I'm in
Yeah.
trouble. You
So
know?
maybe say 15 to 20-minute presentation.
Okay.
And
Speak
then-
fast.
And then there'll be a Q, and then there'll be a question, because really the bulk of it should be the question and answer, I would think that would be.
Yes.
We'd want that to be the, I mean, they may answer all of the questions that
I
we
think-
have in their presentation, but probably not, so.
Most of their presentation should be what we already have anyway. So I would
Right.
assume.
So we'll have the in-the-can questions and then any miscellaneous questions that come up from any board members.
Yeah,
after that.
based on the presentation.
That works.
Just for
That makes
the
sense.
purpose of my understanding, in these kinds of interviews, is there time for questions from the public? I don't know what the rules are for this kind of thing.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I haven't read anything about that it's not allowable.
If we're not going over on time, then I mean, if someone wants to say something, we should.
Okay, so we'll try and reserve some, we'll try and reserve some time for public questioning.
So if we set up the agenda that way.
I guess,
just do-
Dave, would you like a chance for that? Oh,
I'm not. so
I was
sure.
not looking at you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
It works
The fact that you weren't looking at it.
I'm not convinced it's appropriate, but I don't have a problem with it. If we got somebody that wants to speak, I don't want to
Well,
squash anybody.
they might have a good question that we just didn't think of. so,
Okay.
you know.
Yep.
Just wanted to know the
We can
rules
use
of
it
the
for the
road.
next one. right?
Okay. If it's not prohibited, I just assume have the time in there. Yeah, okay. Okay, is that,
I'll notify all three.
okay.
And we'll take a look at whether the room's available that date,
Yes.
and we'll let you
Yeah.
let us know.
Should we tentatively put in for the room for the 22nd and 29th? I mean,
Yes.
The 29th should be clear anyway, but
Yes, so
if we book,
do I need to do anything? Will you check into that?
Yeah. I can do
Okay,
it.
great.
Sounded like the library came to it online, huh?
Okay. I think that's good. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Is there anything else to say on that? All right. Does anybody have any new business they would like to discuss other than what we've had? Okay. Future meeting schedule, I think we just nailed that, so we're good. We're meeting every week after the end of the month. Well, we knew this would be the
Yeah. our crunch time.
Okay. Do we have any public comments from the public?
Please.
Yes, sir.
I'll attempt to be very brief, because I know that you work hard at this. A few questions. At the outset, I heard somebody say something about the fact there's 1 million, 2 million limits, so what's that about?
Insurances.
The insurance requirement, we set in our RFQ the minimum requirement they needed for liability insurance.
That's just liability.
Yes.
Well, include, yeah. And then some...
Errors and omissions
It's all in there.
Yes, professional.
in that $2 million.
Yes.
My point is, I don't think $2 million is enough. This is going to be a bigger deal than $2 million, but I'm not an insurance expert, and I raised the question.
Well, it's pretty standard for
Yeah.
architectural firms. One of them, the larger firm, had a higher limit, but 1 million, 2 million is pretty industry standard.
Okay.
And we can take a look at that.
Yeah.
Come with each one.
They just seem, strange.
Yeah, we were in the same ballpark with the school.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel, well, that tells you how much I know about that. Second issue, in your discussion, you did not mention anything about making time or a process that you could contact customers or clients of these folks to see what kind of a job they did for them. And I think that's very important. Very important. Because you sure as, from my standpoint, you sure as heck don't want to hire somebody and then say, oh, by the way, would like to check, this is all part of the due diligence insofar as I'm concerned.
Agreed. I think we have it as a February 10th is our date for awarding. So we do have 2 to 3 weeks after the interviews to do that.
Just as long as you have it in the
Yep.
queue and it's something that to me
Absolutely.
makes sense. And I probably should have started off with this. Refresh my memory now, the purpose of this process that you're doing, and what is it that you're going to end up with when you hire this firm? What are they going to do?
Okay.
Give you a copy of the RFQ that outlines exactly what we asked them to do.
Okay, just encapsulate it.
Summarize.
Well, let me ask the question.
It moves us to, not to construction documents, but to design development phase.
Okay,
So,
so
in
they
other
will design the building, the renovations. The
Yeah,
company that you hire will be the design, and will they also be the architect that will go out to bid and supervise and all that architectural stuff?
No, we need to get bids. They're going to give us an estimate of how much it will take to construct the design that they do. And then we need to, as a town, approve that,
Yeah.
get the funding.
Yeah.
Then we hire them to do the
Okay, but
construction documents.
that's the stage. They're going to design this.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to give us a
Cost.
cost for that,
Yeah.
and then the process.
And then we go to the town meeting for approval to proceed.
Okay. When I was here last, I suggested that one of the key elements, insofar as I was concerned, was the ability for CAD/CAM so they could make changes and that kind of thing. And I'm sure that will be coming, along, but that's critical. If these are Boston firms, I mean, and I heard somebody say 1,000 employees, I mean, my God, the overhead must be unbelievable. So these are all things that I think about when you're going to select somebody to do something. We want to be able to make the change and move things around, so that should be figured in the process that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it must be later on, but those are the concerns that I have.
Well, actually, that's outlined in a lot of their bid proposals. They talk about the computers and software that they have available,
Yeah, okay.
as well as
Capacity, we asked them for a statement on capacity and ability to complete the job, and a lot of them have in there. Well, I didn't read it exhaustively yet, we just got it today, but...
And obviously,
And I
I
think
think it's a benefit of looking at the RFQ.
Right.
So I'm sure that and if I'm, touching on things that are in there, I apologize, but these are the things that came to my
Yeah.
mind initially when I came through this. So at the end of the day, when we hire this firm, we're going to have someone, a group of their architects and designers come up with a plan, and you folks are going to bless it. correct?
That's correct.
After you have input from the townspeople and say, well, what about this, and all of that stuff. And then we're going to go, they're going to give us an estimate as to what their best estimate is, to what this is going to cost. And then we're going to go out to bid to see how much that's going to cost, and, to see if the town wants to do that.
Well,
We'll
the
have to get
approval,
town approval
we'll have to get town approval on
Funding
that.
first, yeah.
I assume that they'll also give ballot for this, correct?
Yes,
Think so?
yes.
They have to be.
Debt exclusion.
No.
What?
Only if it's a debt exclusion.
Oh, we could do this without debt exclusion?
You don't need a ballot vote for
Okay.
just an appropriation if it's.
Oh, I was assuming that we
for
needed
evaluation.
debt exclusion to do this, I didn't realize it.
Do you foresee there's a mechanism that we could do it without a debt exclusion in the next 5 years?
Depends on the
That's
cost.
another
I'm just throwing it out
I
there.
answered the question.
I was making the assumption it would go to a debt exclusion.
Well, that's, to me, is a key element. Maybe it's not, part of this discussion, but I think it's essential that we go to town meeting as well as the ballot, so that everybody has their chance to do this. And if that's an issue at this particular juncture, I think we should find out how we can guarantee that it goes to the ballot.
Well, it only goes to the ballot if it requires a debt exclusion.
I understand that. So if somebody tells me that there's a possibility that we won't be doing this with the debt
We would not
exclusion,
be legally required to go to a ballot if it was not done through debt exclusion.
I understand that. You're missing my point. I don't care what happens, okay? I want a debt exclusion. I want it to go to the ballot so the people can vote, okay? And if the intent of this committee or the powers to be says that this won't be a debt exclusion, so we don't have to go to the ballot, I want to call a timeout and debate that point and find out what we have to do.
Well,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure that we would make that decision.
I understand.
Yeah, this group doesn't do that.
We just sort of trying to deliver the,
I understand.
If we could make it, I think if we could make it not a debt exclusion, it would be because we get it at a reasonable cost and we're trying to save money, not because we're trying to not vote on it.
I was born at night, but not last night. And I've been here for 40-plus years. Okay? And so far as I'm concerned, I'm going to insist personally, Dave Rogers, and I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure that it gets on the ballot so that everybody has an opportunity, if they're tied up for town meeting, they can't go, has an opportunity to vote on this.
Fair enough.
That's how important I think it is. But that's just me. Okay?
And by the way, don't disagree with you. It's
Yeah.
just,
When I first met here, when we talked about this, I was very specific about this, and the consensus was that we were going to go to ballot. And now there's some question with that. Do you think that there's a problem, Heather, with not going to a debt exclusion?
With not going to.
Well, in other words, do you see any way that we could do this without going to a debt exclusion?
I'd first have to see the cost estimate.
Yeah.
I can't answer that question without having that number.
What was the number we got from the designer?
It
The last
was
go-around, 9
less
million?
than 10, yeah.
Say again?
It's less than 10.
Yeah, but
Between
that
9
was
and
a very conservative number.
Correct.
Right, so if in your mind, if it was 10 to 12 million, do you think it would have to go to the debt exclusion?
Probably.
But there's no guarantee about this.
Again, I have to look at the.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah.
Do you have a procedural problem with going to the ballot?
If
Well,
it doesn't require a vote, I guess I'm not understanding. If it doesn't have to be debt excluded, are you asking, do I think it should still go to the ballot?
Yes.
That's really not my call. That would be the Board of Selectmen's call. They're the only ones that can make
Also,
that decision.
Again, not to debate it, Dave, but
I understand.
the other side of the coin is that if it can be paid through operational funding rather than a debt exclusion, it will actually be less expensive to the taxpayer because you're not paying the debt. You're not paying interest on a debt. It's just a thought.
I don't even think that that's, possible, but that's, you know.
Yeah,
12
again,
million bucks.
I made the assumption that we were going to be required to do a debt exclusion. That was
Yeah.
my original thought.
Yeah.
Just because of the cost estimate of 10 million, it doesn't seem like it'd be ever, doesn't seem like we're ever gonna have 10 million extra
Yeah.
operation.
Yeah.
Right, based on, I think, what we hear each year. don't think
I
that-
just,
But
I
it
think
was
we can read
noted.
between the lines and understand
Yes.
where
Oh,
we're
yeah,
going.
Yes.
absolutely, yeah.
That's all. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. I had one thing, but I forgot.
I'm in that boat right at the moment, too. I'm trying to remember what it was. For the life of me, I don't remember now.
I just had a quick question on hazardous materials stuff. We haven't done a hazardous materials assessment, like survey of that building, have we? I know it's been brought up, but I don't think we actually have a survey.
I don't think there's a survey, but when we did do the walkthrough with Mr. Londa, he did go through a lot of detail about what he thought and what he knew from his experience.
But without
I
a
believe the
survey,
schools did something at some point.
Yeah.
This is deep memory now, it's going back a while.
Well, they must, because they've been picking away at
Yeah, I think the schools had to do something at some point.
I just think, I mean, not saying that the survey needs to be done as part of this firm's work, but I can't see how you get a good cost estimate without having a survey done that tells you exactly what you have to remediate in that building before you can do any other work.
I think they're assuming that one of these applications actually lists the person they have on staff that does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least one of them is assuming it's part of the scope of work.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, yeah, we have it in our RFQ.
I thought we did, yeah.
Task force site evaluation. Includes topographical study, soil borings, wetlands evaluation, environmental evaluations, hazardous material investigations.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
Does that include the
But-
building, though? Is that site evaluation, or is that site evaluation and internal evaluation? Because they're two separate things. aren't they?
They won't touch anything in the building without doing
Depending on
hazardous
how you-
materials.
They're spelled out separate. They're
Well,
spelled out separately.
what I'm digging
Yeah,
at is,
about,
are they doing a survey that you can actually bid off of?
Probably
in the
not.
building, environmental evaluation for all these sites.
In my mind,
It's
it's
a
a
good question,
little
though.
bit of
It's a good question.
a fundamental flaw that we should have been a little bit better at.
No, I think-
And not that I have a wealth of experience with hazardous materials.
Well, they have to get the
maintenance, but-
design development, so, I mean,
If they're going to provide a cost estimate, they have to do
Yeah.
that. They can't.
Yeah, I have to imagine that by the time you get to design development, you've already lined up your subs for those kinds of things. In terms of the cost, you've already gone to a hazardous material guy to get a cost estimate.
I apologize, Mr. Chair, I have to run
Okay.
to the
Thanks,
next
Dave.
meeting. No
Appreciate
problem.
it. You're not gonna miss much, I don't think.
The other one, I wish I could.
Thanks, Dave.
You could have made a motion on your way up.
Good to see you.
Thanks, see you guys next week. I think,
Thursday.
Thursday, sorry.
That remediation cost is going to have to be built into the final number.
Absolutely. So why
I mean,
not?
that came up as an issue last night at Board of Selectmen's
Right.
meeting about the primary
Primary,
program. Same issue. You know,
Right.
one of the big stumbling blocks is that number is always questioned. What is it? Oh, maybe it's not that high, maybe it is that high.
Yeah.
Maybe we can reach out to John Londa and get a better idea if they've done
I'll do that.
a full survey.
I'll do that.
Yeah, he's been doing so much work on it for years, I'm sure he's had something done.
I mean,
Well, he went through when we did the walk last week, and he said, or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago. What was the last one? I can't-
He had detailed knowledge of what was where.
Yeah, he said, this is all new, but there's still some up here, and there's, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, he had a real good...
and like I said, I'm by no means an expert in this field, but I have a general understanding that some of the stuff you have to fully remediate, other stuff that might be
You can
below a
encapsulate.
threshold, and it's not as much of an issue, you can go over it, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see us move forward and put ourselves in a spot where the firm says, okay, well, the full survey is part of the build price. And then when you get into construction, now they're like, oh, well, we found all this, and here come the change orders, and so on, so that's all.
Yep. So, I mean, I think even when you have a study done, those bids are often, construction level bids are often just allowances with that, because I don't think you have the number until you actually do the, I mean, that was just the thing we had for the high school. It came in hundreds of thousands of dollars less than we had allowed for, but it was still a moving, it was an allowance even in the final construction doc, because even after you have that, I mean, I'm not an expert in it either, but I just remember.
Yeah, the architect's final estimate was 72, and we bid it, came in at 69.
For the total project cost, but I'm talking about just abating the hazardous materials in the high school before demo. Round numbers, it was $500,000 we allowed, and it came in at 300 or something.
Yep.
I mean, I could be off by, but it was,
And the only thing that changed was the time frame. I think there was some delays in some sections of the building, if I remember correctly. Took them longer than they had anticipated to finish, or I don't know what the issues were.
with the remediation.
Right.
Yeah, that could have been, I don't remember that, but I just remember that, all I'm saying, my point is, it was definitely, even at that stage, it was an allowance. It was still a number that was, it was based on a detailed survey, but it was still an allowance. It was still a
gross number in the overall quote.
Yeah, it was allowance. It was basically, it's billed on a, whatever, for lack of a better word, time materials. It is what it is kind of number. You know, if they do more, they have to take it out, and it's just the way it is.
We do our interviews, we'll make sure we put the screws to them to include a detailed
Survey.
survey.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. I for the life of me can't remember what I was going to ask, but must not have been that important.
Just so we don't forget it, just so people have it kind of planned in their mind, I have an old plan of and I think it covers all of the original septic systems on that property. So we're going to make sure that they determine, or somebody determines what happened to those components. Is there a number of tanks that were on the property, and pipes interconnecting, so on and so forth. Simple surprise, but we don't want to have a surprise if we've got to deal with old septic tanks that weren't destroyed or whatever.
Filled with sand.
Sometimes they're not. Yeah.
Filled up with sand or something.
Dave, do you know if that went down to the area to the rear of Mass Ave, where I had my high school?
At one point, all of the schools were piped down there, yes. That was discontinued when the buildings were all tied into sewer.
Yeah.
That line is still there, and the systems are still down off of Northfield Road.
Right, but my point is, does anybody know that they reconnected this thing and sent everything down off of Northfield Road? And did they, close everything up, I guess is the question.
See, that's what I don't know.
Yeah.
The plan I have doesn't show whether those were destroyed or straight piped through.
So there's no leaching system, there's just tankage and pipes that are probably exist on that site?
And any leftover tanks from the original systems that were not filled or destroyed.
But it's tanks and pipes, not leaching facilities?
There were leaching facilities on the original properties, yes. Before they
Until you put it down?
Before they built it off of Northfield, Mass Ave.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that was because they were failing.
Hearing for the kennel, is that
Across the street at
Town Hall.
Town Hall.
Thank you.
Man,
Okay, that's good.
Everyone
I'd like to see that plan, actually.
Yeah, I'll make a point to get some copies of it.
Yeah.
That came directly out of the Board of Health files.
Yeah, well, that's good. Okay.
One real quick question. Dave, do you know if there are any as-built of the Passios building?
I believe there is, isn't there? No, not as-built, the original
Original
design.
blueprints, no one's as built it.
No?
Right.
Okay.
That's what these guys are going to do.
Yeah, but I just thought that,
It could help, we talked about that
Yeah.
early on. Is there any information that we have by way of,
yeah,
and there really isn't a lot of, other than the design plans, which helps a little bit.
yeah.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thanks, everybody.